Hello, Steeler Nation, and welcome to your latest episode of your Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. Yes, with me again, Pittsburgh, and your voice from across the pond. And guys, it's me again because Mark is unwell at the moment and is trying to recover. He can't speak very well at the moment, so that's the reason why he is not making videos. And we wish Mark a speedy recovery, and I'm sure we'll see Mark back next week on the Syndicate doing what he does best, making black and gold content about our Pittsburgh Steeler heroes. So, guys, if you love the Syndicate, if you love our content, if you love the Pittsburgh Steelers, hit that subscribe button. Come and join the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate family and learn more and discover more and contribute more to your Pittsburgh Steelers. So, guys, today we're going to talk about the Swiss Army knife. Yes, we're going to talk about Tre Norwood. Now, Tre Norwood, when he was drafted last year at pick 254 in the 7th round by the Pittsburgh Steelers, he was described by Mike Tomlin as a Swiss Army knife, someone who can play in multiple positions in the defensive backfield. And what's remarkable is this 7th round pick played all 17 games last season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, it's not unheard of, but it's unusual, shall we say, for a 7th round pick to play that much. And Norwood played all 17 games. In fact, he played 388 defensive snaps and 202 special teams snaps as well. He had a lot of very influential plays, key plays in his season. More of that later. But let's start by looking at Tre's stats. Let's have a look at how he did last season. Now, remember, this guy is a 7th round pick. So he played in 17 games. He started 3 games. He had 1 interception, a very famous interception, and we'll come to that later. He had 4 passes defensed. He had 38 combined tackles, which breaks down as 32 solos, 6 assisted, and he had 2 tackles for a loss. Now, that may not seem a particularly spectacular statistics line, but when you remember this guy is a rookie and a rookie 7th round pick, then pretty good stats for a rookie 7th round pick. Now, Tre Norwood not only played on defense, but he also played on special teams, and he was a key member of the Steelers special teams last season. You know, Mike Tomlin called him smart. Danny Smith absolutely loves this guy. Here's a quote from Danny Smith from last season about Tre Norwood. This is what Danny Smith. I love Danny Smith. Look at him there, chewing his gum. You know, pumping his fist. Been a typical, Pittsburgh Steeler coach. I put him in some tough situations in front of people, in front of his teammates in practice. Smith said early in September. This was last season, obviously. He never blinked. He really didn't. I told him to cut his eyelids off. Because that boy don't blink. I think, obviously using some Tomlinisms, trying to be very smart there, which is Danny Smith all over. But, just showing, I think, that the focus, the attention that Norwood brings to day-to-day play, to day-to-day special teams plays, his willingness to learn, his willingness to, not miss a thing, to be ready to play at all times is clear in what Danny Smith said there. Well, sort of clear, if you interpret what Danny Smith says, in a typical Steeler coach kind of way. It's not just Mike Tomlin and Danny Smith who speak very highly of Tre Norwood. It's also new defensive coordinator Terrell Austin, who, of course, last year was the defensive backs coach. Terrell Austin says he's been doing well. Secondary coach Terrell Austin says, obviously DC this year. This is taken from last year. He gets a little better with more experience. Really sharp player, so you don't see him making the same mistakes twice, which is good. He's really been coming in the dime personnel because we like his pass savvy and his route recognition skills. And that's something that he does. He is very route savvy. He is very good at recognizing and reading the quarterback and very good at reading the receiver. Something that is absolutely vital if you're going to be a very good safety in the future. And that's something that I think Tre Norwood has. Now, what will happen next season? Obviously the Steelers have a number of safeties. They signed Demonte Kazee, they re-signed Terrell Edmonds, and they have a number of safeties currently, on their roster. Here's the first, thing. A strong safety, they have Terrell Edmonds, Miles Killebrew, Carl Joseph. A free safety, Minka Fitzpatrick, Demonte Kazee, and Tre Norwood. Now, obviously, Tre Norwood is listed there at free safety, but Tre Norwood can play in a number of different positions, and that's something that is a great asset for him this coming season, that Swiss Army knife type play. Now, let's think back to his season last season. Key plays against Seattle, for example. There was a tackle on DK Metcalf in the first quarter where he recognized the mesh route that Metcalf was running. He looked and read what Geno Smith was intending to do, and he hit Metcalf and got Metcalf to only make a 2-yard gain. And DK Metcalf is a fearsome receiver. Now, add to that Tyler Lockett, another good Seahawks receiver. So later in the first quarter, again, he read Geno Smith's intention. He spotted the route that Tyler Lockett was running, and he managed to prevent Tyler Lockett from catching the ball. Again, another key play. Both these plays were on third downs. Both these plays stopped the Seattle Seahawks in their track. Now, remember, if you will, as well, another key play from last season, that interception against the Cleveland Browns in Ben's final home game. I mean, what a memory to have that you are the guy responsible for intercepting the ball and giving it back to the 18-year Hall of Fame quarterback to do the victory formation in his final home game at Heinz Field. A great thing for Tre Norwood to have as a memory, but, a very good interception as well from Baker Mayfield. He works hard, Tre Norwood. He looks at game tape, he looks at opposition game tape, he looks at his own game tape, he looks at playbooks, he looks at defensive playbooks, he spends time with the coordinators and the coaches. He works exceptionally hard to get better. And this is another reason why the Steelers will include him again this season. But where they will use him, if you think back, they will use him because they have trust in him. That's where they got, that's the first thing to think about. They played in week 1 against the Buffalo Bills. He had 15 snaps, 3 key tackles, and 1 pass defense in that game. Now, Norwood was primarily last year used in the nickel and dime packages and was very effective in those packages. He was used in 58.2% of snaps on these sub packages last season. And that is something I think will continue this season. We will see him brought in on a number of nickel and dime packages on the Steelers defense this coming season. So that's one way the Steelers will use Norwood this coming season. He, 41.8% in nickel. That's another thing. In the nickel package, that's something at another time we're definitely going to see Norwood and see him used. We might see him as well in 3 safety sets. Primarily those will be Kazee, Edmonds, and Fitzpatrick. But if we're spelling those guys, we may even see Norwood as part of those 3 safety sets. 3 safety sets are something that Brian Flores loves to do. And Brian Flores is having an input on our defense this year. We'll also see him developed, I think, this year as a safety, someone for the future, someone who the Steelers will, see as being a potential future Pittsburgh Steelers safety to play alongside Minka perhaps. Again, that's where we're going to see him used this year, but we will see him used in a variety of roles: at corner, at safety, in nickel packages, in dime packages, maybe even the slot as well. That flexibility that he brings will enable him to be really useful this season for the Steelers and used in that number of different positions. So, guys, let me know what you think of Tre Norwood. Were you impressed with his 2021 first season? And what do you expect from his sophomore season? Where do you expect to see him play? And what do you think of him as a 7th round pick and how he started for our Pittsburgh Steelers? Let me know in the comments below, guys. And if you haven't yet subscribed, like I said, hit that subscribe button. Come and join the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. So, guys, let's finish this as we finish it always with, here we go, Steelers. Come on.